Good evening. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The 15th episode of the Dropodcast. Welcome. My guest today, my only guest, is TheRogueWolf. Welcome.
Hello there.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
So far, so good. I see I'm a bit bright today, so let me quickly adjust my camera settings. We've got some topics today. On the list, we have a few things from the mainly Planetside Reddit, because the dev stream wasn't really helpful this week. One of the topics is, for example, the Thumper, the weapon balance, with the Kuma nerf coming up on the PTS, outfit progression, NC Max not being really lethal, and finally also we got the new community manager. That's for this week mainly. So, TheRogueWolf, have you seen the Thumper pictures or play with it yourself on the PTS?
No, I haven't.
Have you played with grenade launchers in the past? Or
I have actually. The underbarrel grenade launchers. I rely pretty heavily on them as a light assault.
as a light assault, okay. And which weapon you mainly use with a grenade launcher? There's
Generally anyone they're available on.
Hmm.
I will go for that. I found that they're pretty good for finishing off maxes that have avoided C4.
Ah, okay, yeah. They do a lot of damage against maxes as well, the grenade launchers. I've never tried it.
Not a lot. But like I said, if they get outside of the lethal range of a C4, they're usually weak enough for a grenade launcher to finish them off.
Ah, okay, I see. Well, I kind of use like grenade launchers to attack doorways. For example, in the biolabs, when you know there's a big stalemate going on. I try to sometimes break them with nades like those. So I think maybe for engagements like in the biolabs or near very, very busy bases, the Thumper can be good, but I don't know.
Yeah, if you're an engineer, you can pretty much lock down a doorway that way.
Oh, it's actually a heavy only weapon.
Oh, which? Oh, I was talking about like the regular grenade launchers, not the.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, if you've got an engineer who knows how to place an ammo pack, then yeah, you're gonna hold down pretty much anything.
Have you reached ASP yet, or?
No, I haven't.
No. Because this gun will be able to be secondary if you play as a heavy. Do you think that it would be like a nice combination, like with LMG Thumper?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe go a little longer range with the Thumper, and then have a nice short range LMG as backup in case anybody tries to close in on you.
Yeah, seems fine.
Yeah. Only thing I see is that a lot of people really do not like indirect fire weapons in this game. They don't like anything that you can kill from behind cover, and that's pretty much this.
Yeah, it's gonna make people a little angry. I see that coming as well. Yeah, bit of toxic fights coming. Right now I have tried it on the PTS against at least one person. It is pretty hard to get a direct kill. You need to hit him on the body at least, I think. So the only thing is you can of course shoot multiple grenades pretty fast.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the model right now, and it's looking like probably 6 or 7 rounds.
Yeah, 6 rounds, and I think there are like 30 grenades inside. A pretty beast. You like the design, by the way, by Doku?
Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting. I like a lot of Doku's weapons, except for the iron sights.
Iron sights. I generally skip the iron sights and never look at them, so I have no clue. Yeah,
if you've ever used like any of his TR weapons, the iron sights on those are really bad. It's like a bright red ring. It's really thick, and it makes it kind of hard even just to see the front post to know what you're aiming at.
Is there any benefit of using an iron sight above like a reflex sight?
Not really. It gives you I think it's like a 1.3 zoom, something like that. But a lot of the weapon models are just not made for it, and they clutter up the screen. So it's usually better to have a reflex sight.
Yeah. I think the same. I don't know. What it did in Planetside Arena, have you actually played Planetside Arena during the beta?
No, I never got I never got in.
Because in that game, you started in the first gaming session, you started with only iron sight weapons, and only the higher tier weapons had like a reflex sight or a scope on it.
Yeah, I remember hearing something like that. I don't know if they've changed any of the values for iron sights in Arena as opposed to Planetside 2, but
Ooh,
if it's the same thing, then
I think
probably
that,
an incentive. Probably an incentive to go find a better weapon.
yeah, definitely. They actually changed that because people were complaining about not having a reflex sight, but I kind of like the bare bones style of having only an iron
Yeah.
sight. I mean, it makes the war a bit more Battle Royale like, more Hunger Games like. But that's my own.
Yeah, you can't really rely on the first weapon you grab. You've got to go hunting for better.
Yeah. Well, that's Planetside Arena. They quickly mentioned it during the stream. More information coming weeks, so just keep up to date with this channel, guys. On the Dropodcast, also on YouTube, of course. Brand new channel, my channel. So if you want to talk more about Planetside Arena, stay tuned. Okay, so Thumper, looking good.
Hmm.
Well, we have to see if I'm in practice, I think. Next one, weapon balance. Have you seen or heard the Kua?
No, I'm actually not familiar with it.
Okay, just for you guys that don't know, the Kua is the NSO directive weapon, and you can get it as if you finish a few ARs and a few LMGs. It's a really strange mix and match of different weapons, this directive reward. And in this case, it was very, very powerful. It had 175 damage, if I'm correct, and basically 750 RPM, so it was really powerful. And they are going to nerf it right now on the PTS. So it kind of released as a broken weapon. Do you think it's dangerous, like releasing a very good weapon that is only available for NSO players? Because actually it's a members only thing.
Yeah, it kind of hits two trigger buttons for me. Number one being a directive weapon that's like basically just an upgrade, and also being NSO only and being very powerful. That does start to kind of encroach on pay to win territory. You know, I know it's probably a pain to get to, given you have to go through the Yumi to get to it.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm like on the one hand, it is very hard because you do like deserve a good gun in return for all the work you do. But on the other hand, there's a very fine line because what is good and what is overpowered. And because I haven't been killed by Kua myself because they're just a very small player pool. That's the gun right now. Only
yeah.
like very good players. So I haven't seen it myself yet. Only in the PTS. So I don't know. I'm afraid that in the future maybe the developers will say like we're gonna release very weak directive rewards for the NSO just to make it not pay to win.
Mm.
That's my fear a
Yeah,
bit.
unfortunately, the devs do have kind of a history of going to one extreme and then the other before they finally find the middle ground. I mean, I'm looking at the stats on this weapon right now, and on paper, it doesn't look terribly wonderful. I mean, 167 at 10 meters, 143 at 55, and 125 at 90. Mm. It is a pretty high fire rate, though, so I could see this being like a close quarters monster if you use it
It
right.
melted people from close range. And also it was very effective on the longer range because it has the same like bullet cone of fire as the Yumi, and the Yumi is has very low recoil.
Mm-hmm.
It worked very effective on low range and short range as well as on long range. So that was one of the problems.
How long is the wind up? Do you know? Doesn't say here.
0.25 second.
So same as the
Same as the Yumi.
other thing. Yeah.
It's annoying. I don't know any other guns that use it, like a rewind time. Does the chain gun on TR have the same?
No, it starts firing the instant you pull the trigger, but it starts at a lower rate per minute and then speeds up.
Ah, okay, like that. Yeah, I just can't get used to like the wind up time. But it's a thing, personal thing.
I've played other games that had weapons like that, and they were always problematic to me. You just you expect it to fire when you push the trigger.
What kind of game had that?
Oh, it was All Points Bulletin Reloaded. It's a third person shooter, and there were a couple weapons where it had a delay before firing.
Ah, okay. Oh, we'll see. I'm actually getting pretty close to getting the Kua, so I hope it
Mhm.
won't be nerfed like death. We will see. But do you think that right now the developers take the how do I say this? The feedback from the players enough into account before they release like a weapon like this?
Lately, they haven't had the best history. I mean, there's been a few releases they put out where they just seem to completely ignore any kind of player input. So I'm hoping they're going to change that. I'm hoping it's been a matter of them being overwhelmed and feeling pressure to put things out. And now that they've got DirectX 11 out and they're kind of done like bug squashing and content creation, hopefully they'll get better at it.
Well, I hope so as well. Because yeah, in the end, it's for the greater good. The game is right now
Mhm.
really seeing a lot of new players, or at least returning players. And if they notice that certain weapons are just completely overpowered, that might be like a negative side of the game. But so far, so
Mhm.
good, I think.
Yeah, there's
um,
still
yeah,
a few things I want to see them fix, of course.
like what?
Like the charger, the NC carbine. I mean, it's just kind of garbage. To be perfectly honest.
Is it so bad?
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like a good weapon. It depends on a gimmick that really hampers the way you can use the weapon. Like it's a 25 round magazine, and the first 5 rounds that you fire make it feel like an NC weapon. Everything after that is just too weak, and then you've got the super long reload time, which means getting those first 5 rounds again takes forever.
Okay, so what should they do with the charger according to you?
That's fixing it's a harder problem. I try to give it possibly a 30 round magazine and
Hmm.
knock a little time off of that reload because it takes longer to reload that carbine than it takes to reload any assault rifle that the NC have, and that's like against part of the point of a carbine.
Well, I've actually heard that they buffed the Horizon a little bit. The Kindred is already pretty good, but did they do nothing with the charger then?
Not yet. They've
Okay,
said they're looking at it. I
looking
know
at
that
it.
they increased the damage of the Horizon a bit. That doesn't really address the inherent flaws in it, but the inherent flaws in it aren't terrible. It's a gimmicky weapon, but that gimmick can work out for you sometimes. With the Charger, that's just no.
Just a little recap on the Horizon. Is that the one having like hip fire with a horizontal recoil and the zoom in ADS vertical recoil, or is it a different one?
It's got like a fan of 3 projectiles that go horizontal when you're firing from the hip and vertical when you're aiming down sights.
Okay, gotcha.
And there's attachment to turn it down to 2 pellets that split the whole damage between them.
I see. I see. I haven't. I didn't play Elite Assault a lot, so I need to play a bit more with the Horizon myself.
Oh, it's available to engineers too if you just want to stick with that.
Oh, engineers as well. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna look for it. Right now, the I play NSO and they only have a little amount of weapons for the NSO.
Yeah. Hmm.
But let's go back to the next point. Talking about the NC Max. Have you seen maybe the link I sent in the Discord?
I saw it. I forgot to click on it. I can take a quick look at it right now.
It's a Reddit post. I will share as well with the chat in here. It's about data is beautiful, and it's a guy.
Ooh.
He shared actually what he did. He took the last 2 weeks, I think, and he counted all the different max devs, all the different from all the different factions. So NC, TR, and Vanu. And
Hmm.
what the conclusion was basically is that where is it? Now I can't find it anymore.
Okay. Yeah. What I'm like, this is actually a pretty good breakdown, honestly.
It's
I
amazing
mean,
breakdown.
just numbers by themselves can't tell you the whole story because there's so many different situations where you'd have a max in a battle. But yeah, I'm seeing, geez, nearly twice as many TR max kills as NC max kills.
You see a pretty clear divide. Like Vanu and TR seems pretty even, and then you got the the NC. That's just well, it's the exact opposite of what it was before. But they actually did buff the NC max a little bit again. But I think they need to step it up a little bit more, or they need to nerf the TR and the Vanu max again a bit more.
The problem as I see it, and it's been this way since release, is that the VS and the TR have a pretty wide variety of weapons. I mean, they've got stuff for close range, middle range, long range, and the NC have shotguns. Shotguns, by their very nature in video games, just tend not to do well beyond like close medium range. Just like because random number generator pellets, you're just spraying. The NC really need a decent medium to long range weapon besides the Gorgon.
But isn't the NC Maxim pretty strong, like base holds or point
It
holds?
is, yeah. That was the problem with the NC Max in the beginning, is that a lot of the battles take place in buildings near points, and that's where it shines. But you leave those buildings, and you're a lot more vulnerable. I mean, a TR Max with a Mercy is just going to tear apart an NC Max with almost anything beyond like 60 meters.
So basically, outside you would never pull an NC Max.
Not really, no.
No, okay.
Except for like anti-vehicle, because then you've got the Ravens.
I never play Max myself, so if I hear Raven, it's like,
Yeah,
is it like
you
a
ever hear like
rocket?
the scree?
Is that from the NC Max? Okay.
Yeah, they're wire guided rockets, so they're very popular in vehicle fights.
Are Max actually any good versus vehicles? Can they win against
They
the
can be.
harasser? Or?
They can be. A harasser's probably going to run you over before you deal any kind of damage. But
Okay.
if you're dealing against like in place tanks that are shelling a place, you've got the whatchamacallits, the fracture for the TR. You got the comets for the VS and the ravens for the NC, and they all do fairly good jobs against vehicles. Just when they close in, you're in a lot more trouble.
Okay, interesting. I need to play a bit more with the Maxes, but they are, by the way, about Maxes and NSO. I'm sorry, I'm playing a lot of NSO lately, so I need to talk about it. They're gonna add some Maxes soon, and also some vehicles. So
are they?
It is actually they are. What I already mentioned is they are doing it quicker than they thought. So maybe this year, maybe.
I'm kind of interested to see what an NSO Max is going to look like.
I hope Doku is going to design them as well. But
that would definitely be interesting.
What is, according to you, the most beautiful Max, like design-wise?
Oh, I'm kind of partial to the TR just because I like rounded surfaces. You know, they look really sleek. I mean, the VS look like some kind of Escher nightmare, and NC are basically boxes welded on each other.
Yeah, I got some like when I saw the Venom Max for the first time. It's just like the Alien movie I'm playing right now. And I don't know, the NC Max looks kind of bulky. Don't really like that. And then I think the TR is nice, yeah. Do you, by the way,
it actually looks like,
yeah?
It looks like a military unit rather than like something somebody welded together in their garage over a weekend.
Yeah.
Or something that came out of a pod in an alien ship.
That would be cool. Do you know if the lag thing? Some of the Maxes have a very strange lags right now. Is that a bug or is that the new design?
It's definitely a bug.
Okay.
They go back to normal when the Max jumps, and then they just kind of switch back when they're walking. It's got to be a bug.
Okay. I see.
Also, it's kind of a nightmare to look at.
Yes, it looks so strange.
Yeah.
The question though is, does it also make the hitbox smaller? No, I don't think so. Never mind.
I couldn't tell you for certain. The max does look a little shorter when it's got the bug,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't tell you if that really affects anything.
Yeah, I mainly try C4 rockets anyway when I'm fighting a mech,
Hmm.
so it matter that much. I always just like the splash damage of the rockets, so
Yeah.
okay.
Well, the key thing to remember is that maxes do have a head hitbox, so if you like get caught up close, aim for the head. That can help.
Do you use the archer to fight mexes sometimes?
No, I don't have the archer unlocked. I've never gotten around to it. It's just it's too specialist a weapon for me to want to spend money on.
Yeah, is it you can buy it with swords, right? Or
You can, but my general philosophy is for any NS weapon, I'm probably just gonna plunk down some Daybreak coin for it, so I have it
ah,
on all my characters.
yes, I see. Do you know if it is it a secondary weapon or primary?
I believe it's primary.
Okay, in that case, I understand you don't directly buy it with Daybreak Kush.
Hmm.
It's again like a nice secondary weapon to have, I think. And well, I haven't played with the archer myself. In the future, we'll see.
Yeah. What I've seen is just it's generally best at anti-max work. Other than that, it's just kind of piddling against most vehicles and kind of hard to use against infantry.
I like the sound though when I hear like an archer, but
Mhm.
that's the only thing I I really like take away from it.
Sounds like an industrial tool to me.
Industrial tool, yeah. I like that they made like different weapons. Like this isn't the archer is a completely different weapon, like the Thumper is going to be, and I like that they try different
Mhm.
things out as well. So
Yeah,
let's see if they're gonna make more in the future.
would be nice. I just like I said, I hope they avoid the gimmick tendency.
You mentioned there are going to be new ARs, right?
Yeah, I believe that they're working on new assault rifles for the medic class. I don't have any details on them though.
I'm curious though. I also hope it won't just will be like a normal gun, just a normal AR I can use. So
Hmm.
not too much gimmicky. But they, of
Mm.
course, they got one problem is that they want to make special weapons. They don't feel
Yeah,
too much like each other.
faction traits are definitely important. Definitely, just sometimes they go a little overboard with it.
Yeah, certainly. We got one last topic for tonight.
Mhm.
Outfit progression. It's
I
actually
know, I know absolutely nothing about outfits.
no,
I can't
no,
help you there.
no. It's but one other thing. Rel mentioned in the dev stream that the for outfit. No, I'm sorry, it's wrong. For the new play tutorial, they're going to add sanctuaries in the game.
Yeah, I
It's
did
like more
see
like a
that.
social hub. Uh, what are your dreams or what are your wishes for these social hubs? Do you ever make
Mm.
use of it, or do you just want to play the game?
I mean, I've been in the game since release, so it's not a whole lot new for me to discover. But for a new player, um, I'm going to take something else from All Points Bulletin. They actually had places where you could put your own like artwork. They had an art design studio where you could use basic shapes to create things.
Mm-hmm.
If you could do like a an advertisement, even if it's just like only your outfit logo and a brief blurb or like that, that'd be good. So that new players could actually just see right there exactly who's looking for new players. That would be interesting. That could probably help some new players out.
They do have the studio, the player studio tool.
Uh-huh.
It might be able to be over there.
Yeah.
That could actually be
Also, I think
pretty cool.
some moving targets would be nice if they could possibly manage that, just so people can experiment with their weapons in like something approaching a live fire situation.
I mean,
I mean, it's
if you ask me, if they implement something like that, they don't have to walk strange. Just if they strafe a bit, or
yeah. I mean, just point A to point B and back would be fine, just so you
yeah.
can understand how to like lead targets and things like that. Because a lot of gamers are used to games with hit scan weapons. They're not used to travel time or things like that.
It depends what kind of gamer you are. I
Yeah.
think if you play a lot of Battlefield,
Yeah, Battlefield, you're used to that kind of thing, definitely. But if you played like Fortnite, then you're used to most weapons just hitting exactly where you're pointing.
doesn't Fortnite have something like bullet drop?
Doesn't what?
Doesn't Fortnite have something like bullet drop implemented?
For the sniper rifles, I think they do.
Okay, only for yeah.
Yeah, the other weapons, I don't think so.
No, I see. Yeah, it depends a bit. I was playing with the Ghost yesterday, and I've been playing a lot with the Daimyo before. And the Daimyo does have somewhat more bullet drop than the Ghost, so it was so confusing for me to play again with like less bullet drop and less, basically less leading, because I think the bullet velocity is also quicker from the Ghost. So yeah, I would also like something like that, better leading tools. But again, about the new play tutorial, they're gonna add different kind of what I had to mention, like building blocks to learn the game. I mean, I think that can be implemented pretty easily, like the leading building block then.
Yeah, from what I understand, they just want to do like a kind of a drop-in module thing, so they can add new things in.
Yes.
Like pretty much without too much effort.
Then to go back to the point IV progression, do you think if they would add like special skills or special ASP points more or less for outfits, would that be game breaking? Or
Ooh, yeah, you're kind of approaching a line there, because you don't want to have somebody get an advantage just because they happen to belong to a big outfit. I mean, like, you run into the problem with the Zerg fits could possibly have like the best resources available to them, just because they've got so many people. They drop onto a battle and pretty much automatically win it.
yeah, it depends though. If you are a Mass IV for the Zerg fit and they don't coordinate well, they still can lose those battles. Yeah, do you think then that like a cosmetic reward for IV progression would be the best?
Something like that, yeah. Like some kind of you can get a logo. You might get like a special helmet or something like that. You get like a banner you could use on your screen. It's better than something that actually gives you a gameplay advantage. And I would really want to see it like tilted towards outfits that excel in the team play. Metrics like revives, point holds. Well, I don't know, point holds. You can just stack people on the point.
Yes.
But I think you know where I'm going with that.
Actually, revive is a very good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reward those things. Also, of course, they need to implement things, especially for IVs that mainly do like tanks or mainly do airplanes. Because people tend to forget that as well. Especially if they hear the name Rel and they think about the Command Arch initiative. So
yeah.
No, okay. Like I mentioned before, it's going to be a short episode. If you have any questions about today's show, let us know. We're also available on YouTube after the show on my or your brand new channel. Any questions of any topics you want us to discuss as well, go to our Discord.